Yeah, so a question for Pankaj, and so my question is more related to the visibility you have across the entire Aditya Birla, family of businesses, and how are you seeing, people think about AI? What are the change management aspects? And are they different depending upon, the businesses that you interact with? The challenges may be different depending on either leadership or the nature of industry that they are in.
Yeah. I think as you grow older with gray hair, you realize that many things actually are the same pattern. They just get repeated or manifest in different ways, but the fundamental remain the same. So if you think about technology and adoption, whenever a new technology shows up, we tend to sort of just figure out what to do with it. We don't know the full potential. I mean, even when the metro came along, we all just went and took a ride. We didn't have to go anywhere. We just said, okay, there is something out there. Let's go from one. I still remember I went to Delhi with my kids. I took a train ride to another place and came back. I had no reason to do that. And I think we do that with a lot of new technology. And over time, then you figure out on a day-to-day basis or longer term basis how it is going to be used. So I think this also resonates with a book that I read, and many of you know of Dr. Alok Agarwal's Rai Analytics. He's written a book on 100 years of AI. And one of the points he makes is that any technology takes almost a generation, 20 years to get sort of really appreciated and understood and embraced by the population. So it's all about change management. So technology has enormous potential, whether it was steam engine or electric motor or internet or now AI. Now, sometimes these days, these things are getting adopted faster. But in general, there is a long tail of adoption and so forth. So I think in our group, it's no different. Some of the businesses which are fast moving, consumer oriented, fashion and finance, they have no option but to adopt some amount of data analytics AI in any case, right? Some of the older, more stable businesses in the world of manufacturing where you are in a leadership position, clearly, there is no main pressure to adopt that. At the same time, there's an opportunity. So I think many places where you are in a very competitive and market, there's a pressure because everyone is breathing down your neck and you need to continue to do something, and your ability or need to experiment is high. But in some places where the pressure is low, I think the pressure is not there, but the opportunity is high. So I think we have to also adopt different strategies when we work with group companies to say that if you are in a very strong position, then we have to talk about what is the possible opportunity, because you can't say that there is a threat because they are in a good position, they are doing well. You can't tell them that someone is coming after you, but you have to then bring a almost like a carrot approach to say, what, this is possible, that is possible, your people can have a good time. As you grow, you don't need to hire more people, you can be more productive and things like that, right? So those are the methods that you use to drive change. Well, on the other side, it's slightly more easier because they see that things are happening at a rapid pace and their need to experiment and try more is there. So like I said, manufacturing takes a different approach, takes longer time also, because if you think about the manufacturing businesses, their life cycle, the cycle time is much higher. Yeah, even Nidhi, you would remember that when we have been in a previous organization, when the business was an enterprise business versus the consumer business, the consumer
Mhm.
businesses are by definition changing fast, and therefore the need or ability to experiment is higher. An enterprise cycle is longer, and people take longer to adopt. So I think our change management approach has to change, and of course, the biggest thing that we need to do as a team is to really get into the business and understand where we can create value, because you can't just excite people based on technology, because that will be short lived, like taking a train ride.
Mhm.
You can only excite them by showing that how their business can fundamentally transform, and that is a co-creation activity. You have to engage, you will discuss and debate and all of that. It's not as if one day, because many people say, oh, you come and tell me what I can do. No, it's not a one transaction discussion. We engage, and as through those discussions, new thing emerge. So I think this whole idea of change from waterfall to agile, which has happened in software, I see the same change happening now, that we have to tell people that you can't do one big thing. You have to do a lot of small things, which is what agile is all about. You have to keep responding, reacting, engaging, and so on and so forth. So initially, when our team got set up, and typically the traditional IT approach was, oh, you guys are tech guys, come here, gather requirements, or tell us what we can do, and go and do it. And we said, no, that's not how this works. This requires a fundamentally different approach, and that I think is required in technology also, but more so in this. So I think for us, the main thing is making people understand what it is, why it is, and how it has to be used. So we actually have a what we call the 3W framework of ways of thinking, ways of working, and ways of doing, that you have to change at all those three layers to make transformation happen. So that's the learning here so far.
Thank you, Pankaj. You said when you have gray hair, you realize the fundamentals. So I think some
You
of
have a long
this,
time to get
yeah,
there. All black.
getting there.
Now to Pankaj. Um, so obviously, Pankaj, not a AI question, but I want to see if you're using data. The other day we were talking about, right, in the industry, people do not know Pankaj, probably they're not relevant in the industry. Um, right. So I mean, you are world famous, right? And how is that? How does that network? How does this? Any tips, tricks that you could suggest becoming that world famous? And is there anything data that is you're using to make it happen? If it is,
Are you familiar with the golden circle of Simon Sinek, the why, how, and what, three circles? So
no.
there's this famous video which was in the top 10 in TED, and I have kind of really liked it 10, 15 years ago when I saw it, and I use it a lot in everything that I do or wherever I communicate. So he has these three circles: why in the middle, how the next one, and what is the outside. And frankly, this you can apply to anything and anyone. So it can be a company where the core is the purpose and what is what they do. It could be an individual. The core again could be your purpose and externally is what you do. So many a time what we tend to do, because the what is visible, the outside is visible. Sometimes the how is also known, but the why is invisible. Many a time the why is also invisible to the company or the individual also, which is that whole purpose or what is it really, what do you stand for. So I think that if you really reflect, again, maybe gray hair talking, that mostly we are driven by the why. What is an outcome? And many a time people are trying to chase the outcome, and that doesn't work. So it's like saying that, Apple is a great company. It's a $3 trillion company. How do I become a $3 trillion company? I don't think Tim Cook or Steve Jobs can tell you. They were following a passion which resulted into a $3 trillion company. So I think what we need to figure out is what is it that we are trying to do. The outcome is not something that we wanted exactly in the same way. So what you are kind of alluding to, my persona, is some of the outcome that you observe, which at some level I did not intend them to be that way. In fact, these days I find that a bit of a distraction actually. While you may feel it is a good thing, to me, actually, I would rather be hidden and not known, because I don't necessarily like the publicity. I mean, there are people who enjoy publicity. I don't really like publicity. I would rather engage in a one-on-one dialogue with you, with no one watching, no one knowing. To me, that dialogue itself is a end in itself. Now, if that dialogue gets posted by Ravi and 50 people comment on it, it's okay, but not necessarily something that I really enjoy or cherish. So that's how it is. So I don't know whether what you see is the pursuit that I am seeking. And like I said, at this point in time, it seemed more like a distraction rather than something that I mean, some amount of, sharing best practices is not bad. I mean, nothing wrong in it. But sometimes it becomes too much, then it becomes a distraction. So I actually don't know whether I would really advise that we should do that. And at least for me, at least certainly it's not a goal. So if you ask me, I am just curious about anything and everything. And I say that I collect the dots. How those dots connect later, I don't know. But they do end up connecting. So sometimes they connect because I have to make introductions to someone. Sometimes they connect if I'm trying to make an insight out of something. And they connect organically. I don't take any notes. I don't save anything. I don't necessarily read too many books. I just connect lots of small, small dots from here and there. I mean, people are, this thing that amazed that I don't read books. I just don't. I haven't read the Bhagavad Gita, although I quote it a lot of times. I haven't read many books that I quote one or two lines from them all the time, because I just resonated with that dot within that book. So to me, it's very different from what I think what persona that people create out of what they see, and which is true for any company or anyone. So I think the why for me is just curiosity and trying to make a difference where I can. So I think I don't know, you Nidhi, you probably knows me better than any of you, and maybe she can comment, because sometimes other people can comment on you more than you can, because from the inside you don't know what you are really doing. You're just doing what makes sense, but maybe some outsiders can comment better. So in some senses, I'm asking Nidhi to also contribute to this answer for a better.
So I think, yeah, I think everyone who knows Pankaj will have their theory of what makes him tick and how he operates. And there is also this theory that, in Harry Potter there is this talk of a Horcrux. So, and one of the challenges for Harry Potter is to put this Horcrux together. So, the people, each of those individuals sees one aspect of you, and that entirety of who you are is the summation of all of that, of all the individuals you've interacted with. And so in your case, probably amalgamating and bringing it all together would be a huge task because of the reach that you have. My personal view, I think at the core of it, there is a very strong intellect, and added on with a very strong sense of empathy and curiosity. And I think these three things are what sort of, depending on the environment he's in, the three get triggered and the outcomes can just emerge from there.
I will also use these three words that Nidhi said: intellect, empathy, and curiosity.
It's a magic potion. It's a magic potion. So lovely. So what an incredible discussion we had today on the Trio, the Power Panel series. We explored deep insights into AI-driven decision-making, the transformative power of analytics, and the crucial role of cybersecurity in shaping the future of work. A big thank you to our expert panel, Pankaj, Nidhi, and Dr. Lalit, for sharing their wisdom and perspectives with us. And just call to action for the listeners as such. If you really enjoyed this episode, do follow, share, and drop us a comment on what resonated most with you. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and see you in the next episode of the Monday Morning Learning Podcast, The Trial. Thank you so much, all of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi, for
Bye.
even bringing the three of us together, because we were colleagues in Wells Fargo, but we haven't been talking to each other enough. So I think this was a good opportunity.
I think we should do an internal
Yes.
podcast series.
Without Ravi, we should meet up.
Yeah. We can invite him. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.